Are we ready to
Is
call?
Karen on?
Karen, are you
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
on? Bradley's here, so we're ready to
Bradley's here.
call the meeting to order. So I'll call this Wednesday, July 20th, San Ynez Community Service District meeting to order
At
at
32?
5:32. No, actually, no,
No?
5:30.
Oh, 5:30.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. Oh, Director Redford.
Here.
Director Beard.
Here.
Director Pettiford.
Here.
Director Van Pelt.
Here.
Director Jones.
Here.
Okay. And we'll do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
I always want to add an amen at the end.
Directors' comments? Any of the directors have comments at this point?
No comments from me.
Okay. All right, then I think we can move on to public comment. Anybody in the public or on Zoom? Is anybody on Zoom?
Nobody on Zoom.
Okay. We'll move on to reports. General manager report.
Yes, thank you. Just very briefly, first board meeting and the 9th full day on the job. I've had the opportunity, luckily, to meet the staff and Mike LeBrun, Jose Acosta, and Greg Lowe. Met with Director Redford. Had a tour of the wastewater treatment plant with Jerry. Tour collections Friday with Craig, and obviously looked at a lot of files over the last 9 days as well. And thank you for appointing me as the general manager, and I'm looking forward to serving San Ynez Community Service District. With the actual official business, we have 2 proposals for at-large demographic study, and I would like to meet with the committee, Director Jones and Director Redfern, because proposals both had very different approaches in determining their fees, and I think we need to look at those and sort of just break it down a little bit before we go any further forward, and then we get back to the board, hopefully the next board meeting.
I'm sorry, what was
I
that?
didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
2 proposals for the at-large demographic study.
Oh, okay.
The proposals went out. I think Mike LeBrun administered that portion of
Okay.
that. And we did get 2 back, but their approach to determining what the fees would be are very different from each other. And I think we just have to look at them and try to see where there's equitable information in both of those. And so I wanted to get together, and we can arrange this later with Director Jones and Director Redford to look at those 2 proposals and then get back to the board next month. And then we also, I just noticed we have a vacancy in the Finance Budget Committee, and I'm looking to fill that next month as well. And I would also like to recommend that when the board approves the replacement, that we might consider alternatives for the 3 main committees, so that in case somebody isn't available on the committee, the alternate might be. I know I've done that in other organizations, and it's been helpful, you know, when you need to have a committee, somebody else can jump in case somebody isn't available.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have for the general manager's report, unless there's any questions.
No. Legal counsel's not here, so Secretary Treasurer.
All I have is the quarterly chapter meeting for the Santa Barbara chapter CSDA meeting is going to be down at Isla Vista Community Center on Monday. You guys want to go? I need to RSVP. And it's it.
I'd like to go, but I can't with my schedule.
Networking is 5:30.
I'm in LA. So, okay. Committees?
Well, from the latent powers, I'll speak for Director Redfern and myself. We did not have a chance to meet, so no updates from that committee.
Okay. And I believe the other committees will take care of in closed session. Okay. Consent agenda. So for the regular board meeting approving the minutes, this special meeting approving the minutes, and approval of disbursements for July through June 11th through July 15th. Has everybody reviewed the?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
You made the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second you.
Okay. So that was,
So we have a motion by Director Paddleford and a second by Director Redfern to approve the consent agenda as presented. We'll do a roll call vote. Director Redfern,
Aye.
Director Beard,
aye.
Director Paddleford,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Van Pelt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Can you guys hear okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that motion passes. So action items. Public hearing for election for sewer fees charges. This is one we do every year.
No,
What?
that's supposed to be for the budget.
That's supposed to be for the budget. So then we can't.
So we can because we published it, but we need to, well,
Did you publish it for the budget?
yes, we published it in the paper on the 7th and June 30th.
Are there any other regulations where we have to post it?
I don't think we can adopt the
Okay. Do we have to postpone that till next month,
budget.
or next special meeting?
Mhm,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I did have a couple of questions about the budget.
I don't even, the way it was written, we can't even.
We can, yeah, we can discuss
We
it.
can discuss it. Okay.
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
And my questions were that we still have a 4-wheel drive truck and the hydrovac and a bunch of equipment on here,
Okay, that's for the capital improvement.
right?
It's
Yes.
always on the capital improvement.
Yeah.
It's always on the cap.
It's always on the capital. It's our wish list.
All right.
It's a
And
planning tool.
then the force main, what do they call it, bracing for the force main.
Mhm.
I was thinking we might be prudent to take some of the ground penetrating radar and see how that line is sitting in its bed, if it's moved at all, rather than jump into 200 and some $1,000 on something we don't know for sure is moved. I know that the soil's moved on the outside of the hill, but doesn't necessarily mean our pipe's moving. And it might be a lot cheaper for us to look at that first before we jump in on that project.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah, and that's a project that I think we want to try to share with the Chumash and the Caltrans.
mhm.
And, you know, that's down the road, but I think that's something we're gonna have to look at in this year.
Right, but the ground penetrating radar might not be, I mean, we might only have a couple $1,000 and we can know if that's actually gonna be a project
Right.
before we circle the wagons with everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
And we actually spoke with Caltrans and they are interested in even looking at it.
Okay.
They went out to the job site and they said it's not their responsibility.
They're not interested. They don't, yeah, of course, they're gonna say it's not their responsibility.
So, well, that's one thing that we have to update block on.
Yeah. Okay.
think did Craig say that he talked of flood control too?
Flood
About that?
control.
I think so. Memory banks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that the Chumash are aware of it, and they would be more than likely to participate with us. I saw Sam at a chamber meeting, and he mentioned, we had a small conversation, and that was one of the topics. So,
that's good.
yeah. So,
Any other questions?
that was it. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next item, resolution 2216. For the board of directors of the Senate, community
So we can't
difference.
do that one, so we have to move on to item B.
Which one is this one? The per? Okay,
So item B
Okay.
is discussion and update on the sewer line settlement.
yeah, okay.
So on the sewer line settlement investigation, I was looking to get an additional 30 days just to get a better understanding of the project. I have talked to our district engineer, Mike Kilborn. I tried to reach Tom Seidel. He's the contact for specialty construction. I just made contact with Dave Kerr, who's the project management on that, and also talked to staff. And I did have a brief conversation with the director Redfern about it as well. And I have looked at some of the documents and looked at the agreement, the bid documents, and some of the language in there that talks about the guarantee, which our notice of completion was signed on the 17th, November 17th, 2022. So we have about 3 months and 28 days from today's date before that warranty runs out. One of the other things I was just considering is to see if specialty might extend the warranty for an additional 6 months just in that area to see if there's any natural occurrences that take place in wintertime. Just another thought.
Yeah,
Has the line been soaked? Our last meeting, we were told that there was no problem soaking the trench line, and that would give us the answers we needed. Has that happened?
No.
Well, that's the direction that the board had last month. So,
I have my hand up.
go ahead.
May I comment?
yeah,
When I reviewed the agenda in the packet, I saw this request, and I had a different memory. So I went back and watched that portion of our meeting from June, and I think direction was very clear on the soaking. And I had said, let's give it 30 days. Let's give staff that amount of time to get it done. And our interim director said, we don't need it 30 days. This can happen right away. And we all agreed. And that is absolutely the direction. So I don't know why we need more time. That's my first comment. My second comment would be, I would be very surprised if this company would want to extend. I think Caltrans is more likely to be involved in the bracing project than getting an extension on a warranty. Never hurts to ask, but I would find that very unusual.
yeah,
But I do think we need to stop screwing around with it. It's been 6 months that nothing's happened.
right.
Since we had the fall. And so I think we need to get it done ASP. It's supposed to be done now.
Yeah,
So I'd like to see some soaker hoses stretched out on that whole dirt area, not just where it fell, but the whole damn dirt area once it leaves the asphalt. And have it soak for 24 hours. It'll fall if it's going to. If it doesn't, then we're good. They don't need to extend their warranty. We know it's good.
do you think it's 24 hours is enough?
With us, if it has pressure, it should be pretty damn close. We can figure out what that soaker hose is putting out, and actually figure out how much water we're putting down in that trench line.
Yeah,
So that's from Mrs. Larson's property to Highway 246.
That's from where it leaves Horizon Drive, the whole dirt area. I know, we know it's bad in the area they've already had to repair. I want to know if the rest of the area is bad. I'm assuming, which I could be really wrong about, that they did it in the same manner all the way through there. Therefore, if we put enough water to it, it's gonna fall. The repair of just putting more dirt on top doesn't really fix it. It band-aids the top. They can compress it and it'll bridge for a couple of years. But I don't think the district should be responsible to come back in 3 years after paying over $1 million. They have to come back and repair it and go through everybody's yard, and the embarrassment of us having to do it when we paid good money to have a good project.
Our engineer thought it was a very good suggestion. He said he had thought of it himself, but it was so simple, he didn't include it on his list. And so there was a full discussion at last month's meeting with the engineer, with the full board. So I say, let's get that done.
Yeah, I think we should get it done.
Absolutely.
I think the only question is how we're gonna get the water supply to there, whether we go to Mrs. Larson and tell her we'll pay her water bill for that month, or whether we bring in a big tank and,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
we bring in a 2,500 gallon tank and
Bob, I'm in a community service district. Can I call you later?
fill it and let it,
All right, thanks.
So that's the only question I think we had was, but that's more your expertise or your decision on how we do that.
That is exactly right, David. What we did is we deferred to staff on which method to use, whatever was, the more prudent and one that made sense to the professionals that we paid to do this work. So
Right.
anyway, I rewatched the meeting. We've discussed this at several meetings, and the only thing that has really happened is more time has passed.
Well, part of that, I think, is due to the transition and other things, but, I think that's a priority that we get that done.
Right, and there's some noticing to the neighbors that are adjacent to that
Right.
easement in terms of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Then it seems like there would be a quantity component in terms of how much water goes into the ground at
Right.
some determined time as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Well, what is the compaction supposed to be?
The compaction, according to the details, I can attach that. And it depends on where you're at in that area, but it looks like it's either 90 or 95%. depending on where it is.
So we should have no more than a 5% fall in that trench line. Or if the compaction's not right.
You mean in the line itself?
Yes.
Right.
So I say we get on with it. I mean, I don't, it blows my mind that we haven't notified them that this could be happening, the people, that property we gotta get on. We need to get on this. It's gonna be November. We're gonna be still spinning our wheels on this job.
I mean, if you can get an extension, more power to you. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think we need one.
Yeah. Hey, I would still try to get an extension.
I would like to have done what we agreed to last month happen.
Absolutely. But if we can get an extension, I think we should get one. But I think we should do our due diligence and move forward with this and do the water test and get this behind us.
And then I know just another consideration, I think, is we're in a drought period right now, and there's going to be some optics, right, with the water usage, I think, as well.
Right.
And so we're going to be prepared for the optics on that.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, it's a necessary evil to do it this way.
We can grow grapes all day long to drink, but we can't check our sewer line.
Yeah. So
I have a question or a comment, gentlemen and director, the lady directors, is there non-potable water sources? If we had a 2,500 gallon tank brought over, is there non-potable at least for, if you say, the optics?
I'm wondering if we could get the water from recycled from the Chumash because they recycle their water. It's an option. I don't know what the politics of that are.
We're going down the path again.
Right. So, yeah.
Can we put the baby to bed?
Yeah,
So was there a motion at the previous meeting that gave direction to staff to do that?
I think it was just direction.
It was just board consensus.
Board consensus gave the staff direction. Yeah,
The video's on YouTube if you need more information. We covered this at length.
Yeah.
And we were assured that it would be done and we would get the report on the results at this meeting.
Okay, so the board is offering this suggestion with staff direction.
yes.
I can do it in the form of motion if you like.
Yeah, I know in general, I prefer a motion for action.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
So your motion is,
That we flood all the soil from where it leaves Horizon Drive to where it meets the asphalt again, where possible. San Dakota parking lot might not be available to us to do it. But all soils area where we use native soil to get coverage and compaction, I think we should check it.
okay, so we have a motion by Director Redfern and a second by Director Beard to flood the soil from Horizon Drive to 246 to verify the compaction on the Horizon Drive sewer line. We'll do a roll call vote. Director Redfern,
Aye.
Director Beard,
Right.
Director Paddleford,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Van Pelt.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
I do think you probably want to monitor at the bottom of the trench to make sure we're not flooding. Because water will run down and build up. So that should be checked every few hours.
Okay, so we'll move on to item C, discussion of possible actions on district latent powers.
Yes, this is the item reviewing the active latent powers. And I did have a recommendation here that we have direction to staff, and just to get the ball started, I decided to put some recommended staff direction here to discuss latent powers. And I'm sure the committee, I haven't met with the committee to see what they've done previously, but as my understanding was that they did look at parks and recreation services, as well as improvement to maintain streets and roads, and possibly curb and gutter. And so my recommendation to staff was to have the general manager get back together with Director Redfern and Director Van Pelt to discuss latent powers, and then with some follow-up staff direction that is included in the staff report. I can read those if you would like, but otherwise they're available on the board now.
Go ahead and read them.
Okay, the first one was to reconvene the MSR committee, which is Director Redfern and Director Van Pelt, to discuss the latent powers to date with the general manager. Meet with LAFCO representatives to discuss some of the factors that LAFCO will consider including, but not limited to, developing a service plan and getting voter approval for funding, the need for organized community services, the present cost, adequacy, more like a feasibility study, probable effects of the proposal and alternatives on the cost and adequacy, the ability of the district to provide services to the area, including the sufficiency of revenues, and then more broadly establishing a preliminary outcome for the activation of latent powers. That's the determination of expectation timelines and estimated cost. I think what I learned what I think I could summarize with 3 main bullets is we're going to need community approval, and that will require community outreach as well, and definitely communicate about the process as we move forward. We also will need LAFCO approval. And then one of the other things that I read that I thought kind of rounded out these 3 main bullets was that anything owned by another public agency, we would have to get written consent for them to take over that part of the latent power if necessary. So, I mean, basically it's meeting with both of you again, and then finding out where we're at, and then finding out where we want to go. And then hopefully all of us either by Zoom or going down to, I think it'd be great to go down, but to meet with LAFCO and ask them some of the questions that we'll probably formulate in the next committee meeting.
Well, I think that's a wonderful recommendation to have us meet with you, Locke and Frank. The only point I want to make when we first started discussing this issue was we really wanted to get the board idea on the direction of the community service district, and it was one of the main reasons why I wanted to join this board. Was I was interested in the direction in the future, and I think it is an opportune time with the LAFCO review and with just a lot of issues boiling to the surface locally, that we just have conversations as a board, and we have them in earnest. And you know, I'm pushing for deep discussion. I don't know what will come of them, but I do think that we have to have the consensus of all board members, and frankly, opinions of our constituents, or at least give them the option, because we either let power be taken from us, or as Director Jones says, or we take power. And I'm of the thinking that we have to take the initiative to take some of the powers.
That sounds good. And I think maybe one of the things that we can determine in committee is whether we need to do a special board meeting to talk about that, because it sounds like it might be something that could take more time than a regular board meeting, and also have a little more detail about what the entire process might mean to the district. So look forward to the committee meeting for sure.
Yes, can you look at the date proposed a few to Director Redfern and myself, and I would be more than happy to to make one of the dates work in my schedule until I return back next month and I can meet in person.
So you broke up a little bit right at the beginning of that last statement, but it sounds like you have a preference to meet in person when you get back next month, sometime in August.
Well, yeah, preference to meet in person, but I'm happy if you can provide a few dates and times before next regular board meeting. I would be happy to jump on a phone call, at least to begin discussing this matter with the committee and yourself.
Very good, thank you.
Our public outreach on our district elections, we may be able to tie in with some questions of people that have to do, what role they see the district playing in the community. But it's time to get this all going.
I agree, Director Jones.
The MSR will be done by March 23rd, 2023. March 8th.
Go ahead and say that.
Just for the record, the MSR will be completed by March or April of 2023. So.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to the next item? Yeah. So D, adoption of resolution 2217, authorization of remote teleconferencing meeting.
Okay, so this is the standard resolution that will, adoption of it would allow the board to continue conducting the board meetings remotely pursuant to Government Code 54953 and AB 361. If you approve it tonight, the period will be from July 20th to August 18th, 2022.
Isn't this what we got our special meeting on?
Yeah, you have to do it again.
But if we do it from the special meeting, then we'll have to have another special meeting before the regular board meeting. It has to be every 30 days.
Oh, okay, all right, got it.
So every once in a while, you have to have a special meeting in there to continue.
Get an extra $20 and get the special meeting. Just saying.
Extra 100.
Is it 100?
It's 100.
Ka-ching.
I'll make that motion to
I'll
approve.
say.
Do we need a second?
We have it, Redford.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Director Van Pelt and a second by Director Redfern to adopt resolution 22-17, authorizing remote teleconference meetings pursuant to Government Code 54953 and 8361. We'll do a roll call vote. Director Redfern.
Aye.
Director
Aye.
Haverford.
I,
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Van Pelt.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Move on to item 8, informational items, treasurer's report.
Okay, so this is the balance of the accounts as of June 30th, 2022. The mechanics money market had $4,943.18. LIF had $162,920.09, paying 0.69% quarterly. 5-star regular checking account had $76,392.56. 5-star money market had $5,347,795.66, paying 0.69% interest monthly. 5-star Horizon Drive account, $205,096.85. Our CDs had $1.82. Petty cash is $150, and that leaves us with a total of $5,797,300.16.
In the Horizon Drive account, that money is set aside. Is there a final payment due upon?
No, that money we can use for other district projects, and we have to use it within 3 years.
Okay, that's part of,
So that could pay for the force main bracing, the sewer manhole replacements,
okay.
any district project. the
This
chain and flail.
This came from the loan?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that we should put on an agenda of what, a future agenda to see what we want to do with that money so that we don't lose it.
Well, we would take our capital improvement projects and go from there.
Okay.
Wendy, have we seen any change in our interest rates?
Yes, it's gone up a little bit. Currently, if I remember right, it's like 0.847%, but I'd have to go back and look exactly. Not a huge increase. I did call First Bank, and their CDs were like 2% for 18 months. And I was waiting for the company that we invested our CDs in before to give me a current update on what their CD amounts were.
Very
So
good.
We'll probably have that on the agenda for next month to see about moving money.
Yeah, we need to take advantage of the bad market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments for this? The treasurer's report?
no,
Okay, then we'll move on to item 9, labor and employment, open session comments.
No public comments?
No public comment.
No public comment.
Okay,
Zoom?
then we're gonna go, we'll take 2 minutes and then go into closed session.
Yeah, I was texting Nate
Okay.
to call in.
Okay,
I wasn't typing
Is he gonna call in on that phone?
on. I think he's gonna come in on.
On Zoom? Okay.
Bye now.
The YouTube is streaming again.
Yeah, so we're back into open session and reporting out. There's no reportable action
Right.
during closed session. And looking for a motion for adjournment.
I make that motion.
I second it.
Okay, so we have a first by Karen Jones, a second by Director Paddleport. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Redfern, aye. Beard, aye.
Powerford, aye.
Jones, aye.
Van Pelt, aye.
Okay.
Yay. Very good. Thank you. And thank you for chairing the meeting, David.
Oh, no problem. Are you back in a few days?
Yes, I'm in Junction, Texas. I hope to be at least to Las Cruces tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be back next week bothering people.
Well, drive safe.
Oh, my husband's so excited.
That's not what he said to me.